Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time on a Tuesday. Hope everybody's having a great night so far. How real is the Lamar Jackson conversation around Tennessee? You'll look at my artistically done graphic, and you will see a picture of Lamar Jackson there with the Titans logo. There has been people are trying to make connections between Lamar and the Titans, but it is our job to suss through just exactly how real or not real the Lamar Jackson Titan rumors are. So we'll do that tonight throughout the course of the show. We will point and laugh at the Arizona Cardinals for giving out a contract that is completely and utterly indefensible in the larger scheme of things. And then we'll do a gone viral video at the end of the show, because that's what we do on Tuesday nights. Before we get this thing started, need you guys to share this show on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and on Twitch. Before you go ahead and share this show. Retweet it on Twitter if that's where you're spending time with us. If you're on Facebook Live, you can share now to public like Andrew Jones or Rick Bates. YouTube or Twitch like B French or Mr. Strokes. Throw a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel. If you've done both of those things, tell a friend to do the same. We would be grateful for you sharing this show. B French says, okay, Lamar Jackson's not going to be in Tennessee. We don't have the money. Let's just not even talk about the Titans because obviously we ain't got no money. Well, what else am I going to do for a half hour tonight? So instead, we're going to work through the reports/rumors that are swirling around Lamar and the local professional football team. Let's go ahead and get this thing started. Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time from the Superbook Sports Studios. I'm your host, Buck Rising, and I'm proud, as always, to be presented to you by our friends at Superbook Sports. Download the Superbook app today, and they'll match your first bet up to $1,000, win or lose. Nobody gets you better odds boosts and promo bets than Superbook.com. The Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage. GaryAshton.com is where you go for your dream address without the stress. The intel edge you need to succeed comes from GaryAshton.com. And TrueMav Fitness. Get your fitness goals accomplished. Get your fitness journey started if you are in need of doing so. Your first workout is free as a Middle Tennessee resident at TrueMavFitness.com. So, looking at the different circumstances that the Titans have in front of them and all the different money moves that this team needs to make. Lamar Jackson is a person of interest that hovers over all things NFL offseason. Now, we have seen a couple of different, I don't even want to call them ties between Lamar Jackson and the Titans. We have seen a couple of people trying to draw these connections fairly or unfairly and not really grounded in reality other than their fun discussion points on talk shows. Let's see. One of the comments that I saw earlier is T. Thompson says, media loves rumors for talk shows. Well, media loves rumors for talk shows, T, because you love rumors for talk shows. There's an entire industry based on your guys' need. I'm not specifically speaking to T. I'm talking generally to everybody. There's an entire industry built off the rumor mill. In baseball, it's called the hot stove. People love transactions. They love discussing the idea of X player landing with Y team and Super Bowl contenders, super teams, all these different things. It literally keeps the entire NFL relevant throughout the course of the offseason. The NFL has done well to market itself that way and to get you guys hooked, kind of like drug addicts. But looking at the circumstances for Lamar, there's a couple of different things that we have to work through. So the question that I want to ask you is this on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Let me know what percentage chance you give the Titans of landing Lamar Jackson before this coming season. We'll talk about it together. Give me a percentage in the comment section. And while you do that, I will remind you that your Two Rivers Ford take is presented by Two Rivers Ford. Go to Two Rivers Ford for all of your quality American-made Ford vehicle needs, whether you are somebody who is interested in an F-150, a Bronco, an Escape, an Explorer, Edge, or Mustang. Two Rivers Ford always has the vehicles that you want, the vehicles that you desire, and they'll get them to you no matter how you like to shop. Two Rivers Ford always goes above and beyond to make the car buying experience fun for you. Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet or online at tworiversford.com. So Steven Rodriguez says Vegas has the Titans, gives the Titans a 20% chance of landing Lamar Jackson. Jimbo says, how can these idiots not want Lamar? I can't speak specifically, but I do not understand why people would not want Lamar Jackson in Tennessee, even if it came at a considerable cost. Cody Mooney says Tannehill can take us to a Super Bowl. Lamar could take us to a Super Bowl. At the end of it, we either have Tannehill and Henry or Lamar and no Henry. Either way, I believe we can go places. I think the Titans are capable of going further in the playoffs than they've made it with Ryan Tannehill. Keeping Ryan Tannehill under contract, I believe Lamar Jackson gives them a better chance to succeed in their ultimate endeavors of winning a Super Bowl should they have the ability to acquire him. But they have to have the ability to acquire him, right? So here's the first kind of link that was tossed out there. It's not even really a link, because as Lamar Jackson works through the process, failing to come to terms on an extension with the Ravens, really over the course of the last 2 years, there's been teams that are listed as landing spots, potential landing spots, and with no real firm offer sheet put out there for Lamar Jackson, since teams have been able to negotiate with him for about 6 days now, over 6 days now, since the new fiscal NFL year started last Wednesday at 3 p.m. There has been no team that's put in a firm offer sheet for Lamar. So this is what Jeremy Fowler had to say this past Sunday on SportsCenter. Teams are probably slow playing this. This is a quote. The draft could be a good indicator because you have a team like the Colts at number 4. If they feel like they can't get the quarterback of the future they wanted to draft, maybe they pivot to Lamar Jackson. The Jets, if they strike out with Aaron Rodgers, certainly that's not expected, but they could pivot. And then you've got some wild card teams like Tennessee or New England. Teams that like to run the ball, you never know. Now, that's the only time that Tennessee and Lamar Jackson have been mentioned in the same sentence, and it's a throwaway line, right? It's just kind of like, you know who likes to run the football? You know who he'd be a good fit with? The Titans. That makes a lot of sense. But not having any tangential, like concrete evidence that the Titans truly are in on Lamar Jackson. Now, financially, the cap space is complicated, but if you trade for Lamar, you will have to offer him a new contract. Well, you will have to offer a new contract before you can trade for Lamar, and then the Ravens will have the opportunity to match that contract. Now, the Titans' cap situation in 2023 is not a good one. But if you've been paying attention to how some of these deals have been structured, for example, Arden Key is averaging $7 million a year in salary. But Arden Key's cap hit for the Titans is under $3 million for 2023. So they've structured it in a way that they can deal with it in the first year while they're cap strapped, and then kind of pay that down the line when they have a lot more cap space in 2024 and 2025. The cap hit structures are friendly for the first year of the deal. Now, theoretically, you can do that with Lamar Jackson, right? You can structure it in a way that it's they did it with Ryan Tannehill, as a matter of fact. Ryan Tannehill's first year under contract in 2020, I think he might have been below $20 million or $20 million against the cap. I'll have to look up Ryan Tannehill's contract quickly on SpotTrack to give you a more precise picture. But Ryan Tannehill's first year of the new deal, the deal that he signed, 4 years, $118 million in 2020. His cap hit in 2020 was $22.5 million. You know what it dropped to in 2021? Now, this was because of the restructure around Julio. The restructure dropped that cap hit to $11.1 million. So you had a little breathing room. Even $22 million. I mean, $22 million is what Jimmy Garoppolo is making right now. I think everybody would be a lot happier with the Ryan Tannehill situation if he was at 22.5 as opposed to this year with what he is coming in at, which is 36.6. Now, that restructure in 2021 ballooned his cap hit up to 38.6 last year and 36.6 this year. That's a product of the restructure that the Titans, that John Robinson and that previous administration did. So with everything that the Titans have to offer, it's not a simple solution, but we can explain why it gets more complicated with Lamar here in just a second, right after I remind you that the Primetime Show is made possible by TrueMav Fitness in the Gulch. Go to TrueMav Fitness and you will be so grateful that you did, because their team is exceptional. Their coaching staff is top-notch. And the workouts that you will receive, that you will go through, that you will participate in are always going to be new and invigorating, never recycled or repeating, to make sure that your body continues to adapt, to elevate your level of fitness without overexerting yourself. TrueMav Fitness is there for you to make sure that your fitness goals are achievable, whether that's weight loss, toning yourself up ahead of beach or lake season, whether you're just trying to feel better on your day-to-day. If you're somebody like me, I mean, I was up 52 pounds before I started going to TrueMav. I'm 29 years old, and I could feel the difference in like how my joints feel because of the amount of weight that I was able to lose courtesy of TrueMav Fitness. TrueMavFitness.com for all of their great membership offers, whether you want personal training, an open gym, or their group classes the way that I enjoy. TrueMavFitness.com for all of those membership options and your first workout as a Middle Tennessee resident for free. So, what percentage chance do you give the Titans of landing Lamar? Let's scroll back for some of these percentages. MK Mike on YouTube says 80%. That's awfully high. Chris Frazier says 50. I'd say that's really high. Lewis Duffield says 0%. I would raise it slightly above that. GIF Body and Mind K on YouTube. GFit Body and Mind K on YouTube says, Buck, why don't any of you just ask the GM? It's that simple. Well, Rand's not made available to us that way. And any conversations that I'm having with Rand outside the prism of a press conference structure are probably off the record, right? So if I'm asking, if I send a text to Rand Carthon and say, hey, bud, Lamar Jackson, your thoughts? He's not going to respond to that. In fact, he's probably going to block my number. One, because it's in print, and that's not an off-the-record type situation. And two, because those are not the questions that a general manager, you have to read the room, right? When you have access to these kind of people, you have to kind of understand, pick your spots, for lack of better term. Now, if you're looking for confirmation about a deal that's done, can you theoretically call Rand Carthon and say, hey, Rand, is this something that's happening? Sure. He may pick up the phone. He may not pick up the phone. Just depends on how much of that information he's willing to disseminate to local media, if that was even a hypothetical. Square Up says you had him on the show at the Combine. That's true. I did. And we've had him on the show twice now. He was on the show at the Senior Bowl and at the Combine. He'll probably be on again before or after the draft at some point. In all likelihood, both. Rand has been very good about being available when we ask him on. And that's for you guys, right? He's a new general manager. A fan base needs to get to know him and his strategy. And, they'll be judged by what happens on the field. And we're several months away from that. But he does seem willing to appear on a regular basis and speak with you guys through media, right? Okay. Let's move on to a deal that was laugh out loud funny. Actually, no, let's read this article quickly, or a portion of this article that came from Pro Football Talk today, because the Lamar Jackson situation has become more complicated. I will dive into this information with you right after I'm going to just read this information for you right now. So a representative not certified by the NFLPA has contacted multiple teams on behalf of Lamar. That's a report by Mike Florio this morning. Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson is free to speak with other teams. He currently isn't, but someone on his behalf has been. Per multiple sources, a representative for Jackson has contacted more than one team in an effort to spark negotiations aimed at a possible offer sheet. The representative is not certified by the NFL Players Association. Florio goes on to write, As one source explained it, the person has said that Jackson does not want a fully guaranteed contract. Some regard this as a possible exercise in semantics, with Jackson still wanting a very significant amount fully guaranteed, up to $200 million or more, with one more non-guaranteed years on the back end. Another source said that the representative is telling other teams that Lamar Jackson is ready to move on from the Ravens. Obviously, the Ravens would have the ability to match any offer sheet signed by Lamar. Last year, the NFL specifically instructed teams not to negotiate with representatives not certified by the NFLPA when St. Omni was allegedly contacting teams on behalf of then Bears linebacker Roquan Smith. St. Omni, if you are aware of things that are happening in the NFL, St. Omni is the person who helped Laremy Tunsil negotiate his now, again, record-setting contract with the Houston Texans. St. Omni has put Laremy Tunsil in a position to reset the left tackle market 3 different times before by age 31. It's unheard of, but he's not certified. He's not an NFLPA certified agent, which gets into unclear waters, right? So it's something that is a complication thrown into the middle of this, because apparently Lamar is having somebody non-certified negotiate or try to negotiate on his behalf. What percentage chance do I give them? The Titans of landing Lamar? I'd put it at a 5% chance. And I think a 5% chance is pretty high. Like, given all 31 other teams who theoretically could be in on Lamar Jackson, you eliminate some, certainly, who already have their quarterback situations in place. I think a 5% chance is high. That's me erring on the side of caution. I think that there is precious little real chance, given that the Ravens still retain his rights, that player is not in Baltimore next year. Now, could somebody come through with a Godfather offer at the last second and the Ravens look around and be like, "No, we're good"? Possibly, but as long as that team retains his rights, it's going to be pretty difficult for another team to get him out of the Ravens' clutches with a deal that they're not willing to match. Who's Buck talking to, says Dead Fucks on YouTube. Well, who am I talking to about the Lamar situation, or who am I talking to right now? Because right now I'm talking to you guys. But I would say a 5% chance based on just general vibes around the organization, and a lack of interest in moving on from Ryan Tannehill, it would seem right now. I think that the Lamar Jackson deal, 5%, is probably a pretty high number to put on it, specifically with Tennessee. So let's move on, and let's all point and laugh at the Arizona Cardinals together, shall we? The Dennis Daly deal. There's a contract that Dennis Daly has just signed with the Arizona Cardinals, and I would like for all of us to appreciate this together. One word to describe the Arizona Cardinals giving Dennis Daly a 2-year contract. Let me know what your reaction to that news was on Facebook, YouTube, on Twitter, and on Twitch. We'll talk about it together in the comment section. I do want you to hear, though, quickly, before we move on, this Jamison Hensley report from ESPN.com about Lamar Jackson, the latest information that we have from a reporter who's got boots on the ground in Baltimore.
With free agency underway, Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson has been free to test the market. He's able to talk to other teams, as you know, since Wednesday under the non-exclusive tag. Meanwhile, many teams have already made moves at the quarterback position. It's been fast and furious. The Saints signing Derek Carr, Raiders add Jimmy G, Bucks grab Baker Mayfield, Commanders now they have Jacoby Brissett, and the Jets, of course, they're still trying to conclude that trade for Aaron Rodgers. Hey, even the Panthers, they've traded up to draft a quarterback at number 1. So what exactly is the market for the former MVP? Well, for the latest, here's Jamison Hensley from Baltimore.
So no news is good news here with the Ravens. Until Lamar Jackson signs an offer sheet with another team, the Ravens are proceeding this offseason with Jackson as their starter. Ravens coach John Harbaugh has repeatedly told me this offseason, Lamar Jackson is his quarterback. Now, Jackson has a couple of decisions to make. Does he sit out the entire season and protest the $32 million franchise tag? Or if he plays, when does he report to Baltimore? Like many players who receive the franchise tag, Jackson could opt to miss all of training camp and not show up to Baltimore until the start of the regular season. That would not be an ideal situation for a Ravens team that has switched offensive coordinators and is installing an entirely different offensive system.
So that's Jamison Hensley of ESPN talking about the latest on Lamar Jackson. So let's move on and let's talk about this Dennis Daly deal. And obviously, if anything develops with Lamar, specifically in the Titans, we'll keep you updated with that. What was your reaction to Dennis Daly getting a 2-year deal? 2 words, actually, says Roy Shambeau, dumpster juice. Well, we'll talk about it together right after I remind you that the Primetime Show, not made possible by dumpster juice, but by the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage, the Intel Edge, that sweet, sweet Intel juice, baby. They got it at GaryAshton.com. Trust the team that your favorite teams trust. The official team of the Nashville Predators is the Ashton Real Estate Group. They'll get you that Intel Edge you need to succeed, whether you're selling your home in this red-hot Nashville real estate market or looking for your dream address without the stress. Nobody has better intel than GaryAshton.com. So go to GaryAshton.com, get that Intel Edge, win the buyer battle, and cash in on your home equity right now with the official real estate agent of the Preds and the Primetime Show, GaryAshton.com. So, William Wallace says, Buck, do you think the Titans will trade for Lamar? You're late to the party. We've just spent 21 minutes talking about that. You can go back and watch the Primetime Show or listen to the podcast after the fact. Eric Bluford says, of the Dennis Daly deal, 1 word, hilarious. Roy Shambeau says, do we play the Cardinals this year? I don't think so, but I'd have to go look at their schedule. Jared says, Arizona Cardinals, Monty signing a known problem is a problem for them now. Yes, Monty Ossenfort, former Titans director of player personnel, now the Arizona Cardinals GM. What does he do among several different transactions? Well, he gives Dennis Daly a 2-year contract, which is absolutely wild to me. Dennis Daly is borderline not a professional football player at this stage of his career, not based on the sample size that we all saw last year. And while, bodies are critical, depth is critical at this time of, really at just any point, I would rather sign Robert Walsh to a 2-year contract to play left tackle for the Arizona Cardinals than I would Dennis Daly, because I would get the same results. I would get highlight reel after highlight reel of some defensive end just running over the top of either Robert or Dennis Daly. So if I'm going to pay for comedy, why not pay for the actual comedy? Put Robert out on the field at left tackle instead of Dennis. Respectfully, I mean, this guy is objectively horrific at what he does, what he's paid to do for a living. But to his credit, he's still out here getting jobs. If Dennis Daly can get a job after the on-field resume that he put together in 2022, God bless that man. The American economy is alive and well. What recession? Dennis Daly out here cashing checks. Wild is the only word that I would use. Absolutely wild. Are you effing kidding me is what we wrote on the graphic, because what? I had somebody tweet me today, who is the worst Titans offensive tackle, Dennis Daly or Isaiah Wilson? And honestly, it's tough for me to not say Dennis Daly, because at least Isaiah Wilson did them the service of not being available enough to be an embarrassment on the field, the way that Dennis Daly consistently was available to be embarrassed by edge rusher after edge rusher, guard or interior defensive linemen, linebackers, safeties. Anybody who wants a piece can get a piece of Dennis Daly, and that man got a 2-year deal. Wild is the word that I would use. All right, let's wrap things up with a gone viral video here on the Primetime Show. Jared says his agent is the real winner. Isaiah Wilson stayed in trouble. Yeah, but he never got on the field, which means you never had to see him embarrassed the way that Dennis Daly got embarrassed. Watch Daly turn a 180, says DigiSports. That would piss me off. That would honestly be truly a Titan, the most Titans thing ever. If Dennis Daly, he doesn't even have to make a Pro Bowl. He just has to not suck. Like, Dennis Daly can go to Arizona and not suck, and it would be a slap to the face of the Titans organization, Titans fans, Ryan Tannehill, every offensive lineman that he played next to. throughout the course of the 2022 season. An MF and Demon says, no love for the Twitch users, huh? Well, no, don't whine about the fact that I can't get to every single comment on here. Just acknowledge the fact that there's a lot of comments on here, and I'm trying to get as many as I can. But, every once in a while I happen to peek up and see a Twitch from time to time. So if you want more love on Twitch, speak more, and I will see if I can pay you off that way. Gone viral. Let's do it. The subject of the video: who would win in a fight, a 58-year-old Mike Tyson or a 20-year-old, I believe, is the age of Hezbollah. We'll play you a video to that effect here in just a second. It may be more lopsided than Dennis Daly versus your favorite pass rusher. Right after I remind you that the Primetime Show is presented by Superbook Sports. Download the Superbook app today. Get your value on the odds boost and promotions. Maybe we set some odds in the Superbook app for a Hezbollah versus Mike Tyson fight. Superbook.com will get you in on the action of your favorite major sports, whether it's XFL, the NHL, the NBA, or college basketball in full swing back on Thursday with the Vols. Superbook.com is how you get it done. Download the Superbook app. Go to superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem, call the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789. So, looking around at the various internet personalities that exist in today's ecosystem. I think that Hezbollah is somebody who, more often than not, Hezbollah might be the most famous person on the internet right now. I think that it transcends generations. It transcends sex, right? It's, male, female, anything in between. We all know or have seen a clip, a picture, an image, a GIF of Hezbollah on the internet. Now, Hezbollah has many, many meetings with celebrities of all shapes and sizes. In fact, I saw Taylor Lewan and Will Compton were just at UFC headquarters a couple of weekends ago with Mark Wahlberg and Hezbollah, right? Because that's the kind of company that Hezbollah is now keeping. So a video of Mike Tyson and Hezbollah has gone viral, and I'm not sure who I would take at this point in a fight. He just picked him up like a baby and started to chew on his ear after that hurt. Little Josh Heupel, says Steven 1986. It is shocking how much Hezbollah and Josh Heupel look alike. Like if Josh Heupel, and I think Josh Heupel has children, and I don't want to invoke the names of Josh Heupel's children because that seems like, even in jest, probably something that we should not be doing. But if Josh Heupel was to have a newborn, I imagine it would look like a newborn baby boy. I would imagine it would look very much like Hezbollah, which makes me laugh. Eric Alonso says Lewan is currently 40 pounds. Yeah, he's like 270, which is not big for a man who's 6'7" at this point. I don't think Tyson knows Hezbollah is an actual grown man. Oh, there's no way. Not the way that he put him. I mean, clearly he's manhandling him like a child, which if you've seen any of these Hezbollah clips, you know how much he hates. It's the couple, the viral couple you didn't know you needed. Hezbollah and a 58-year-old Mike Tyson who's fake chewing on Hezbollah's ear. It's going to do it for us tonight on the Primetime Show. Thanks as always for hanging out with us. Radio show is going to be a lot of fun tomorrow. You want more Lamar Jackson information? We're going to talk about it at 10:20 with Mike Sando of The Athletic, who covers the entire league and is as connected as anybody in football, agent, executive wise, that I know. So that will be a fun and informative interview, 10:20 tomorrow, Central Time on the radio show. We will also be giving away a 4-pack of Nashville SC tickets on the radio show tomorrow for the dumbest thing in sports this week. So make sure you come prepared with those, and we'll send you and 3 friends to Geodis Park this weekend, which is it's a Saturday night game. The weather is supposed to be fantastic, supposed to be sunny and 68 right before, I guess it's kickoff in soccer, right? I would think. Anyway, whatever it is, before the start of the game, it'll be 68 and sunny, and we'll get you a 4-pack of tickets to Geodis Park. So make sure you're listening to the radio show. And by the way, speaking of different properties, there will be a new 615 Sessions podcast that we'll do live. Jimmy Wyatt of TennesseeTitans.com will be my guest co-host this week. So keep an eye out for that on the A to Z Sports Network at 2 p.m. We'll live stream that podcast. And yeah, I think that's all I got for you guys. In the meantime, 2 more primetime shows to do this week. So 8 p.m. tomorrow for that. And I will talk to you at some point because I'll have 3 opportunities to do so in front of a microphone tomorrow, whether that's on the radio, on the 615, or tomorrow night on primetime. See you guys.
Are you surprised to hear that?
Certainly not. The first year we took it to the limit. And I was in Miami with my new beach house. Well, it was a couple minutes from the beach.
It's been 20 years since then. We haven't been too strong in the last few years.
Oh, we've been strong. We're just playing by the rules. You can't have a newcomer come in and steal a show.